Hello learner, welcome back to our class of advanced Excel. Today's class I would like us to look at 3D cell referencing. If you want to analyze data in the same cells or range of cells on multiple worksheets with a workbook or within a workbook, use a mixed 3D reference. For example, you can see here the formula equals sum. You have, before you reference the cell range, you have to indicate in which sheets are you picking the cell ranges. So in simple terms, 3D cell referencing means you are referencing a range of cells across sheets. So if you are working with one sheet, then it is a 2D referencing. You are only referencing columns against rows. But if the issue of sheet comes in, then that is where 3D comes in. I have some example, 4 sheets that I have made here, or we are expected to make 4 sheets here. I have them ready also. I have them, you can see January, starting from, I think from January, yeah. So they are starting from January all the way to where I should be having January, February, up to let me see, this is January. The same information that is let's see, in January, what am I expected to have in January? So February, let me see. Looks like I already had January somewhere. Oh yeah, it is here. So I have my 4 cells, January, February, March, April. They are with the same content. I want us to see how we can reference now in 3D. So what you are looking for is finding out the grad total of the adding up of the subtotals in the 4 monthly sheets. So the subtotal, you can see them 23, 2290, like that. You have them ready. Your subtotal is here. For January, for February, it is there also. Like that. You have your subtotals for the 4 sheets there. These are the ones I want us to add up. And let me type this formula. Or let me copy the formula. Let's see whether I can be able to copy. I want to add up and see whether I can manage to come up with the expected solution. Expected solution is I don't know, 9260. So where am I adding that up? In let me say in another sheet called summary. So I'm going to create a sheet, and the sheet I'm going to call it summary. And the summary sheet, I'm going to say I am adding up equals that. Let me see whether I have gotten the 9260. Can you see I've gotten 9260? Yeah. So I've been able to pick data from January, B6 in January. B6 is this one. February B6, March B6, April B6. So the 4 of them I've been able to add them up. And if I was working with the function, I would have said equals sum, then January to April, and it is only B6 that I'm adding up. So let me say equals sum. So January to March, and it is only B6 that I'm adding up. Let me see, you get the same. What did I get? Let me see, I should get 92. I should get 92.60. Why did I get 96? To March, January to March, only B6. Why did I get 96? Let me see. If you write the function this way, you should get 92.60. Because all the values are in B6, 23, 22.90 and 22.60. I should get, let me see whether, if I copy, let me copy and see whether I get the same result. The function sum, let me see, equals sum. Let me see whether I get 92.60. Oh, what was the issue? But anyway, I have got the same value like it was expected. So I've picked from January to April only B6, and that is what I have gotten here. Now if you intend to copy your formula, your 3D formula to several cells, then you don't want to, and you don't want the cell reference to change, you can lock them by adding the dollar sign like you can see here. So wherever you are going to copy the formula, you are absolutely going to only reference this cell without changing. So that is absolute referencing, where it is fixed referencing it to wherever the formula may be copied, the cell address is not going to change. And if you don't want to work with the formula, if you don't want to only add up B6 alone, but the entire range, for example, I want to add up the entire range. Instead of picking this, I pick from A1 up to B5. Yeah, A1 to B5. In this case, the data they are using is changing from, I'm picking from B2 to B6. See, so B2 to B6 across the 4 sheets, and then I may write a formula like this one. So in my case also, I think it is B2 to B6. Yeah. So instead of right hand, I may say I want to sum up in the summary sheet. Let's see, I want to sum up the cells, the cell ranges from B2 to B6. It should give me more or less the same form, the same. It should give me B2 to B5. Let me say B2 to B5. let me see what's wrong. I'm adding up from January to April, B2 to B5. Let me see. Sum the whole of that equals a circular reference B2 to B5, B2 to B5, B2 to B5. Okay, let me see here. Why is it a circular reference? January to March. Oh no, it is too much. B2 to March, B2 to B5. Yeah, okay, now the issue here is how am I going to get 92? I should be having 92. So that is what I want to figure out. Let me see. I should be having January, February, March, April. Oh yeah, you can see the order has to go in order. If you change the order of the sheets, the formula is not going to work. So make sure the order of the sheets is okay, so that your formula is going to give you correct values. Otherwise, if you change the order, your formula may experience incorrect values. So yeah, you have gotten our answer. Let's see, continue. Yeah. When you're using 3D formulas in Excel, all worksheet between the first and the last have to be included in your calculation and have to be in the order. Otherwise, the sheets where you are working out the formula, it has to be at the end. It has to be preceded by the sheets where the information is being picked from. So I hope you have been able to follow through the 3D referencing. In summary, we were referencing 2D, that is columns and rows, and 3D in the sense of also including sheets. And that was basically as simple as that. Now let us create a 3D reference okay, this is the same thing that we were doing. So again, we are summing across 4 sheets, January to April, and 4 successive. So that is the last thing that we have done. And the procedure, if you read it through, this is the procedure that you should follow if you are writing the formula. Click where you are writing the formula, write equals, and then continue, write sum, and then include the worksheets in bracket, include the worksheets in and then the exclamation marks, and then the cell range and close, and then the formula should work. How to include a new sheet in an Excel 3D formula. Suppose you are working out 4 sheets, but you wanted to include another sheet. You see what we got from January to April. Now January to April, suppose I want another sheet, call it May. Say May has some information, let's say something like this. So May, let's say in May we are going to have 1000, we are going to have 500, we are going to have 1000, 1000. So we expect something like 35 to be added up to what we had earlier. So the sum array was 92. So I want to include May before April, or whatever you are going to put it. Now let's see whether our worksheet has managed to change. Can you see? Yeah, we are working out January to April, but in our list May has come before April, so it has been included in our formula. Yes, so as you can see here, the formula has changed to something else. So using mixed reference in formulas. Mixed reference, the case of absolute and relative referencing, you can mix them up, but just to point out the difference between relative referencing and absolute referencing, and then I show you the mixing of the two referencing in our work. So here, let's say we have A, or let's say this is what? This is name, or this is value or whatever. Just write something like that, and then it could be anything that you have in mind. And then here we want to work out a formula equals this. That is a fixed, this is a relative formula or a relative reference formula. Now if you copy this formula to the other cells, you can see directly it is going to refer to same relative position. So the formula is referencing one cell behind it. If copied somewhere else, it will still reference one cell behind it, the same relative position where it was referring. It should work out the same. So our formula is referencing to relatively one cell behind. As you can see, if copied, it will still refer to the same relative position, one cell behind. But if I wanted to be absolute, I will put $sign. So you can see what is changing is the rows. So I will fix the row, so that formula is going to refer to the same relative position. I mean, it is going to refer to the same fixed position or the same absolute position. So when we say we are referencing absolute, it means we are referencing to the same fixed position. So whether the formula has been copied anywhere else, it is still going to refer to the same absolute position. Now that is if you are copying across down rows. But if you are copying across columns, then it means let me see where this, you can see it is referring to be this is referring one cell behind, this is referring to one cell behind. So now it is absolute in one part and relative in the other part. That means if you copy the formula across columns, C is going to change to D to E. So it is referring to the same absolute relative position once behind in one part, but in another part it is absolute. Now if you want the entire formula to be absolute, then you have to fix both of the row and the columns, so that now if you copy across column or down rows, it is going to refer to the same fixed position anywhere. Now mixed reference is what we have just seen. Part of the formula being absolute, part of the formula being relative. That means these are fixed. This is a mixed reference. Means columns are referenced fixed or absolute. That is, rows are referenced fixed or rows are referenced fixed or absolute, and the column is referenced absolute, relative, I mean. Meaning if the formula is to be copied somewhere else, the part that is relative should change. If you look here, I mean, if you look here, of course this is that is how it was before. So if I copy this formula across rows, row 7 is going to be the same, but if I copy the formula across columns, C will change to D2, meaning this part is absolute, relative. This is the one that is absolute. Means we have two different referencing type, absolute and relative. That is what it means by mixed cell referencing. And you can see the demonstration given here. So a mixed reference comes in two common forms, either absolute or relative. So the first part, A1, that is fixed reference or absolute reference. One has been referenced relative, and that is what we are being told here. If this formula is worked out, A2 plus B1, so you can see A2 plus B1, B1 has been referenced absolute, been referenced relative, the same as 2 here, but A is fixed or absolute. Yeah. Now here A is relative, 2 is absolute, and B1, the whole of that, B and 1 both are relative. Yeah. And well, I think that is understood. And let's see, working with the charts, combining column and line charts in one chart, combining column chart and line chart in one diagram or in one chart. Let's see how we work that out. So we are expected to have some data like this one. So I think I have that data already. It is here. So I have my data ready, and from there then make a column chart, so that you can have a column chart, go make a column chart, and then you have a column chart like this one. So let's select the entire data, go and insert your column chart, then we have a column chart like that one. It is good. Now let's see what you are expected to change here. From there, you after you have your chart, now change the series chart type. Change the series chart type. So select your data, change the series chart type, and then But after that you will see the chart type dialog box appear, and then click the line chart on the right, and exactly, let me see, we are changing one of the series, not the whole thing. So here the series that are very small, the red ones, select them and then change them to line. So you go to line chart and change it to line type like that, and then it has become a line type like that. Line type. So we have two charts now, one that is very small, flat at the very bottom here, and now we have the column and the line graphs together. But now you can see the line graph is not making a lot of sense, so we need to do some changes. Immediately you will see the change, you have seen that, and then you will see the menu here, select format data series in that, and then use secondary. So again, select the line. I want us to select the line I hope that is the one I have selected. Yeah, the monthly growth. Yeah, it is the one I have selected. So change select data, I think. Is that what we have been told to do before that? Format data series. So no, I wanted to select that. After you have selected that, format data series, use secondary, and after you select that format data series, use secondary series option, use secondary, and you cross. After crossing, you should now have your chart that way. Now our column is using this primary axis, and our line graph is using the secondary axis. From there, you can see we have two types of charts and the series, and both of them are now clearly making sense because they are using different axes, different from how it was earlier. Since the data for the monthly is too small as compared to the data for the data numeric Excel repair. The primary data and the secondary data are too different, so that if they were to both of these series were to use the same axis, then one of them may not make a lot of sense because the data are too small. So it is now clearly making sense, as it is now using a different axis, and you can be able to see the variations quite clearly. And yeah, that we have managed to do that. A row or a column that has been plotted is what we are regarding as a series. So here we have 4 series, and in our case here we had 2 series. Yeah, 1, 2 series, this and this. If you are now to make data using this, then it means we would have how many series? 3. Yeah, we would have 3 series. So let's see. Now make another series now using this data. I mean make another protein using that data. So I think that is what I have here. So using this data, I want us now to make another column chart. You can see we have how many series? 3 series. This and this. And from there, what we wanted to demonstrate here is how you can plot one or more data series in a chart. After you have done that, what we are expected to do, so this is exactly now what we have, as you can see. We may alter the data series. Let's see, select and select data. So after you have selected the data, you can switch. Let's switch and see how what changes comes in. You can see how it is. If I switch, can you see? This is how it was. The series were here, and now the data was here. If I switch, the series comes here, and then the data on the other side. And now we can see that we have it different. Looks a little bit now different. So that is what now we have. What are we adding and removing here? Let's see. Let me see what you select. So you can use the select data source dialog box to remove and move data series. They are saying we can do it in a quicker way. Let's see. Simply select the chart, simply change the range on the sheet. What are we changing the range about? How many were there? There were 5. Yeah, there are 5. January all the way to whatever. Yes. Now let's see. They want us to exclude 1 month, January, July, or what? Okay, I think that's what they want us to do. So if we choose here, let's see, it is including everything. But suppose I change that and remove it like that. So you can just select one series and delete on the keyboard, and it is going to be excluded from your list. So yeah, and even here you can see it has been excluded. So yeah, it is possible. You can just select one. You can just select, and the very quick way is select a data series and delete it, and then it is going to be excluded. So repositioning your chart rigid and labels. Let me see where they are. So formatting data labels. Let's see the data labels. So, format rigid. If you series, you can format the data series, and if we needed labels, if you are to be in the layout, if we wanted data labels, you can play around with the data labels. You can come here and play around with it. So that is where the discussion above the repositioning and everything else. They are playing around with it here. You want to include value. If it is not, you want to include it where outside or center or wherever you want it to be included, and you can play around with that area. Change access units on Excel. Let's see whether we can play around with that access. This one here, you can come and play with access there on or if you wanted from here, you can still come here and play around with your axis from here, and you can change the units as you like them. So you can see where they have been told to come, same exact position that where I've taken you. And when you are here now, you can change the values accordingly. Make sure you are in the access options section from the menu on the and let's see what there is. So this area is where you are changing. If you want them to be fixed, you can automatic, that is, they are automatic right now, as you can see. But if you want them to change accordingly, maximum, minimum, major, you can just play around with that. Make sure, let's see, you can change if you want to make it fixed from 0 and maximum to be at 160. Right now it is at 160. If you want to change it to something else, and the major units, do you want them to differ by 20? If you don't want them to differ by 20, if you want them to differ by 10, you can change. You can do that. Let's see what will be. You can see they are now changing by 10, and you can play around with the axis until it becomes whatever way that you want it to be. If you want to change it by 50, like they have changed the years here, you can change it to that. Initially theirs was just like ours. It was changing by 10, if I'm not wrong. I think so. It was changing by 10 before they start by 20. Yeah, and then they have made it to change by 10. The final one, they have come up after they have changed. You can see all the changes that they have made, and okay, no, have they made any changes so far? No, this is it is still automatic. And at this point here now, whatever changes that you are going to make here, accordingly, if you read what it means by fixed, minimum, maximum, whatever you are going to change, and you are going to see. Now if you make it 50, to change by 50, in this case, in my case, the axis format, the axis, I had made mine to change by 10. Let me make it change by 50. Let's see how it is going to be. You can see it is changing by 50, but still the maximum remains at 160. Yeah, so there is nothing else that I've changed. Okay, now let's continue. We'll just play around with the axis. Even here you can come interval between tick marks, still under axis option, where did I see that? Oh, axis option, that is that where I am. Okay, interval, to see what is different here. I want to see where they got that. Both on this is now where they are working out from. Titles access, that is not where I want to go. More options, or okay, looks like they are taking me to the same location. What probably is differing here is you can see have access number, field, looks like everything else is the same. Access option, and why is this looking different from what okay, doesn't matter. So what matters here is that we have been able to see what changes we can make, and even here whatever they are going to change is still related to what we were changing earlier, so not mind so much about that area. So the x-axis, format axis for the y. Okay, what they were changing here is the y-axis actually. Yeah, after we are done with the x-axis, had not read through to see what we are changing. So this is changing the x-axis, and after you are done with the playing around with the x-axis, they have shown you what likely where your likely is supposed to change values. After you have changed that area to see whatever you are changing, now change the horizontal axis, that is the y-axis, that is what I should have seen. So this one here, you format, you should come to this area, that area, and here now you can change whatever they want you to change. You can change them if you want them to be, they are telling you most likely they are going to be non-numeric. See, the horizontal axis of the chart is just text instead of numbers. You will not have as many options to change there. So again, make sure you are in the x-axis options category, and here you can choose how often you want the tick marks to appear on the x-axis. How often you want to show a rainbow, which is greater for clustered or small charts, and yeah, let's see what you are changing there. You can change this in the area we are going to change, and I think that is it. And there is too much for that. I want you to see whether you can play around with it and see whether you are going to change it to look that the way that is. You play around with it and see whether it is going to come up with this. Yeah. So that is about the charts, and I think we have used much time on the chart, and we can look at something else. For now, go through the discussion at your own time in much more greater details. So I didn't want to spend a lot of time on that area. There's something probably that I would like us to see together, not very important though. let's see. Okay, before we leave the axis, the charts, let's see how we change this previous on value axis without changing data sources. Data source, 100,000 millions. So when working with large numbers such as millions or billions, the axis can take much space in a chart. So to change millions to a short version, like one name, please follow steps that follows. I want us to do that together. So we have this data already, and I expect to make so I make a chart like this one. So okay, there I am. Okay, select that and make a chart. So you see what we have, exactly what is here. And after that, now step 2, change y-axis in the chart to unit million. So right clicking the y-axis, then click format axis, and then go to that dialog box. So there you are, right click the y-axis, and then where do you go? Go to and then click a format in the dialog box that appears. So that dialog box, in the format access window, select millions as the display units. In the let's see, in the display do you see that? Logarithmic display units. Okay, you saw display units where you have logarithmic and whatnot. Are they talking about the x-axis or the? We are talking about the x-axis. So I think we should be talking about the x-axis. Oh, this is the y-axis actually. Okay, the y-axis. The y-axis is the vertical axis, so that is the one we are referring to here. So the display units, make it millions. M's, so that now we have them in millions like this. Okay, and that becomes a little bit better. Now the following is the resorting. You have it resorting like this, and it looks much better. You can change them to hundreds, thousands, and those others as you like. Right click on the y-axis, then click on format cells, and again you can in the format axis window type this format in the number section, then click and let's see, in the type format code. Okay, let's see, let's go there, format axis. Type format, let me see where I'm typing that. Custom. So Where do I change the custom category? Can you see categories somewhere? Number, yeah, and then make it custom, and then the format code, let's say add it greater than this. Now here let's say let it greater than 999 hash hash 0. If you need to have the dollar sign in front of the number such as please use this. Okay, now after you type that, I think it should come up to something like this. Let me see. Did it become like that instead of millions like this? Not adding up. There must be something that I've not done right. Why are these two? This should not be 2. Not like that. And okay, it did work out. Okay, let me see. Oh, but it did not show anything. After I have added that, I should have become like this. And let's see. It should have become, instead, it should have left this to become like this. Anyway, try that and see whether it is going to work out. Now, format the columns, bars, plot area, chart area to display an image. So press with the left mouse button on the chart widget to select it. Press delete on the keyboard. So you can delete this if you do that. You do this, and it should come out like this. change the gapping, you can go to format data series and then press the right mouse button on the data series, press the left mouse button on the format data series. You will now see a dialog box setting dialog box, and press with the left mouse button on the series options. So, and change the gapping. So let's see, you go to data series and then format data series. You can see the gapping. You can change it to 20 to whatever number that you want to work with, and you can see them space out between the data series. You can see them space out accordingly the way you are going to put it. Inserting a picture to a column. So again, from a data series, when you are there, you can insert a picture. So let's say again, when you are there, you can go to where field and use a picture instead if you want to, and you could insert a picture, whatever picture that you would like to use. I don't know. Let's see whether it is going to come out. You can see it's using a picture instead. Yeah, so we can work with pictures. You could make them look this look accordingly to the way you want, and it is going to work out exactly that way. So that is too much on the charts. Pivot tables, that is the one I want us to look at as of now, and that was so much on that. I think this is going to be our next video, so let us end our discussion on charts. I hope you have been able to follow through and you have been able to understand that section. And this is the end of our discussion for today. If you have not subscribed, please make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you can get notified when I do share the other videos that are going to come after this. The channel is at my graphics with Z at the end, or my graphics, one word, office solutions. Get to subscribe to that channel, the one that you are viewing this video on, and we are going to be notified all the other videos that I'm going to share out with you. And please do like the video if you have loved it. Share with a friend so that we can get to learn together, and see you in our next session.